Hip hop is some kind of art movement that was created by African Americans and talk about the Caribbean Americans, talk about the Latino Americans back in Bronx, New York City. What's up, guys? My name is Dennis the Business, and click subscribe to Black Social TV. Let's talk some hip hop, the history, where it originated from, and all that kind of stuff. Now, one thing for sure is this kind of topic is kind of debatable, but one thing for sure, what you have to do is you have to get out to the commentary section. Let's make this more of a debate. Right now, the origin of the name is often debatable, it's quite disputable, and it's also urged that whether hip hop started in the South or West Bronx as well. Now, while the term hip hop is often used to refer exclusively to hip hop music, also known as rap, hip hop is also characterized by about 9 to 10 elements, of which only 4 elements are considered essential and very important to understand the hip hop or the rap music, or we go musically. Now, the main elements of hip hop consist of about 4 main pillars. Now, here we're talking about the Africa Bambata of the hip hop collective Zulu Nation, outlined by the virtue of the fact that the pillars of hip hop, that is the culture, coining the terms rapping, also called MC or an MC. Now, there's also what they call the rhythmic vocal rhyming style, or call it the orality, or the oral, or the lyrical content. Yeah. Then there's also what they call the DJing. Yeah. This is what they call the DJing. Then there's the turntablism, or you can use that word as well. Now, which is making music with record players and also DJ mixers, call it the sound and music creation in this kind of manner. There's also b-boying, there's beguiling, there's breakdancing, there's movement and dance, and there's graffiti. I'll be talking about that in the parts from part 1, part 2, part 3, and the rest, because this is a huge topic to drive us forward. Now, other elements of hip hop also include what we can call beatboxing. Beatboxing is about a persuasive or percussive vocal style. Then there's also street entrepreneurship, hip hop language, the hip hop fashion and style. Now we talk about fashion and style, of course. These guys here look like real hip hoppers right there. Now, among others, just to mention but a few. Now, the fifth element also is quite debatable and is commonly considered either the street knowledge, that is the hip hop fashion, or beatboxing. Now, getting back to the Bronx hip hop scene that emerged back in the 1970s, you will be shocked. From the neighborhood block parties thrown by the Black Spades, the likes of the African American group that has been described as being a gang, a club, and a music group as well. Now, the brother-sister duo back then that you remember, that is Clive Campbell, aka DJ Cool Herc, and the likes of Cindy Campbell, additionally hosted the DJ parties back in the Bronx and are credited for the rise in the genre. Now, the fact that we talk about these elements were adapted and developed considerably, or particularly as terms or forms that spread to the new continents and merged with local styles back in the 1990s. And these are about subsequent decades, of course. Even as the movement continues to expand globally and explore myriads, millions or miles of styles and art forms, including hip hop theaters and the hip hop film, the 4 elements provide a coherency here as a strong foundation for hip hop culture. Going forward with hip hop here. Now, one thing for sure, this is more like a religion. If you find guys arguing about religion, everyone has their own kind of understanding hip hop. Now, let's talk about the consistency, the simultaneously new and older phenomenon, the importance of sampling tracks, the beats, the bass lines from the old records to the art form that means much of the culture that has revolved around the idea of updating classic recordings. Wow! Attitudes and experiences for modern audiences. Now, sampling is an older culture, and it's like reusing it in a new context here, or a new format, that is called flipping in hip hop culture. You've had lots of styles here, people engaging themselves in new styles of hip hop, yeah, and it really sounds good. Then others still debate that these are the guys who are spoiling hip hop. But then again, we are looking at the authenticity, and then we look at also the creativity of this kind of music. Now, hip hop music follows in the footsteps of the early African American rooted and Latino music genres such as blues, jazz, ragtime. We have the likes of disco, funk, and salsa, just to mention but a few. And this became one of the most practiced genres worldwide. Getting back to 1990, we had Ronald B. Stinger Savage, a former member of the Zulu Nation, that was credited for coining the term six elements of hip hop movement by being inspired by the Public Enemy's recordings. Now, the six elements of hip hop movement are civil rights awareness, that is one; activism awareness, that is two; conscious awareness, that is three; justice, that is four; political awareness, that is five; and just to mention but a few, the fifth one is community awareness in music, which means when you talk about community awareness in this music, we are talking about the message in the hip hop music. But then again, the most of the hip hop music that we had has or that we have on the scene now has the kind of swearing language. But then again, we look at the five elements I've just given you: the conscious or the community consciousness right there, the political awareness, and all. What is the message in some of those songs? So, which means some of the hip hoppers have derailed from the real culture, and some are still on the real culture. Now, the question is, who is the real hip hopper? You can get down to the commentary section and let me know as we move forward with this story. Now, back in the 2000s, with the rise of new media platforms, yeah, and obviously the internet, fans discovered and downloaded or streamlined hip hop music through social media, the sites that we know that those days that was MySpace, as well as websites like YouTube, the World Star Hip Hop, there was SoundCloud, and we now have what we call Spotify. Yeah, very many right here. Now, still in the 1970s, an underground urban movement known as hip hop began to form in the likes of New York City, that is formerly Bronx. Now, it focused on emceeing over house parties and the neighborhood block parties at that time. Now, hip hop music has been a powerful medium for protesting and particularly police and prisons. Yeah, they protest the impact of our legal institutions on minorities. Now, historically, we are talking that hip hop arose out of the ruins of post-industrial and the ravaged South Bronx as a form of expression of urban black and Latino youth, whom the public and the political discourse had written off as marginalized communities. Now, we still get to the Jamaican-born DJ Clive Cool Herc Campbell. Now, it's so amazing that this time, this guy, I don't see people praising DJ Cool, yeah, DJ Cool Herc or Campbell here, and when we see into the research, this was like the coolest DJ back in the 1970s, yeah. So which means he contributed a lot to the hip hop industry. Now, this guy pioneered the use of DJing percussion breaks in hip hop music, beginning at Hack's home in a high-rise apartment at 1520. That was 1520 Sewick Avenue. That was the address. The movement later spread across the entire blocks and obviously globally. A second key musical element in hip hop is what we call the emceeing. Now, emceeing, most of the people think it's a master ceremony, but back then in 1970s, the real emceeing that we call emceeing is actually rapping. Emceeing is more like a rhythmic or a rhythmic spoken delivery of rhymes and word plays delivered at first without accompaniment and later done over a beat. Now, most people call it freestyling, others call it emceeing. Now, this spoken style was influenced by the African American style of capping, a performance where men try to outdo each other in originality of their language and try to gain favor of the listeners. Now, which means MCing led to what they call rap battles. Now, the role of the MC originally was a master of ceremonies. Now, for a DJ dance event, then the MC would introduce the DJ and try to pump up the audience. Yeah, the way you hear, guys, what we call in the .com language, you call it hyping. Yeah. Now, MCs would also tell jokes and use their energetic language and enthusiasm just to rev up the crowd. Eventually, this introduced a role developed that developed into longer sessions of spoken rhythmic wordplay, and of which it became rapping. Fast forward to 1979, hip hop music had become a mainstream genre this time round. It spread across the world in 1990s with a controversial gangster rap. Now, DJ Hack also developed up breakbeat DJing, where the breaks of the funk songs, the part that most suited the dance, obviously, he played it again and again. Usually, it was a percussion based, were isolated and repeated for the purpose of all-night dance parties. Now, this form of music playback using the hard funk and the rock formed the basis of the hip-hop music. Now, DJ Hark, the announcements that he made and the exhortations of the dancers would lead to a hyped kind of crowd, spoken, and then the accompaniment, now what they call rapping. Now, he also dubbed these dancers break boys and the break girls, or simply the b-boys. Yeah, as you can see the guy right there, they could just rotate on the floor, and I mean, it became some kind of culture back then. Now, still looking at the likes of DJ Cool here. Now, DJ Cool, the house parties that he used to make, they gained popularity and later moved to outdoor venues in order to accommodate more and more people. Now, they hosted it in parks. These outdoor parties became a means of expression and an outlet for teenagers, where instead of getting into trouble on the streets, teens now had a place to expend plenty of their talent and plenty of their energy. Still 1979, where the likes of Debbie Harry of Blondie took Nile Rodgers of Chick to such an event as the main backing track was used to break from Chick's Good Times at time. Now, the new style influenced Harry and Blondie's later hit single, if you all remember, the 1981 Rapture, that became the first major single containing hip-hop's elements by a white group of artists to hit #1 in the US Billboard Hot 100. So it means Billboard Hot 100 has lived for long, and it's quite meaningful. Now, the song itself is usually considered a new wave and fuses heavy pop music elements, but there's an extended rap by the likes of Harry near the end. Now, I've just given you what we call a sneak peek of what would understand what we'll call the hip hop history. We're looking at the year 1970s because that is where most of the rap basis, came up. You get? So I look forward to giving you fast forward to 1980s. What happened during 1980s? What happened during the 1990s? And believe me, this is part 1 of hip hop culture, the history that is just shocking. Now, for part 2, just wait a bit as you click subscribe. I'm here to make the research for you, and I'm here to give you the real vine of the hip hop culture. My name is Dennis the Business. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back, and I'm out.